Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the February tier list update. Hopefully you're all doing well. Now, I've spent the last couple of hours sweating my tits off getting this tier list in order, because yeah, it's a pretty substantial update. I factored in all of the champions that were released in January, and also all of the characters that have been announced and also confirmed for February as well. So we got the one Escanor, we got Green Arthur to follow as well, Red Freezing Jericho, Red Fat King, the most anticipated global character. So yeah, also if you missed like last month's tier list revamp as well, again, we've changed a lot since last year's tier list in comparison. We got every single character in the game, and we have 3 different sections: all the SSR characters, all the SR characters, and all of the R characters. And I have separate evaluations and rankings for both PvE and also PvP, and also a notes section which aims to kind of inform people about kind of need to know stuff or very important things about a certain character. So the notes section is basically just for a little bit of education for kind of new and progressing players, because again, the game is very overwhelming. If you've just downloaded it, you've got like, 50 different characters in your roster, you're wondering like what they may be useful for in the future, and kind of the notes section is just a list off like a use or two that character could be really, really good for, and just something to keep into consideration there. So anyway, let's start with the breakdown. So also, just to go over the key as well, we do have SS, which are the characters that are broken OP, so incredibly good. The S tier characters, God tier, really good, really viable characters, not quite broken, but almost there. And then we got the A tier, awesome characters, perfectly viable for all sorts of stuff, but maybe a little bit lacking in comparison to top tier options. And then B, pretty good, maybe not the best, but still can work out in the right scenario. C is like useful, like you can just about use that character. D is like, okay, like this character may have one use on a particular final boss or quest or fight in the training cave, and again, maybe of some value. And E is just no. E are the terrible, terrible characters. Like, why does this character exist? Halloween Meliodas, Blue Hendrickson, Blue Halberman, Green Griamore, characters that are just like massive Fs. So yeah, that's the tier list key. But anyway, let's talk about the characters themselves. So currently, Halloween Gotha, I would say, is the most valuable character in the game. He's kind of the core engine of like every single broken team. The passive, the upgrades, the ult control, like everything is just absolutely insane at the moment. Just dominates PvP on so many different setups, but also PvE as well. Is incredibly useful for all sorts of stuff like tower, guild boss, like everything you could potentially think of there. So yeah, Halloween Gotha is just way too good, man. Such a broken support unit there, but a very, very good one, and definitely overshadows the red version, I would say, in most aspects. Then we also have the one Escanor coming out in about 2.5 weeks from now. This guy for PvE and PvP is just absolutely nuts. His single target burst damage is absolutely insane. The sub stats are massive as well once you get to the full peak of his passive. So he's like one-shotting people, and then also having like massive 18% lifesteal on top of his base, which is getting him fully topped up. So yeah, Escanor is just like broken, man. He's so incredibly good and a massive threat moving forward. Then next up, we've got Goddess Elizabeth, who's just the most annoying character in the entire game. Her shield is so incredibly broken. Stun is really annoying. Ultimate is super powerful as well. And again, her revive in PvP, her passive is really annoying to play around. So yeah, she's just a really annoying character. And then currently, we also have Lostfane Meliodas, who I'd say, along with Liz and Gotha, is probably still the #1 team in global PvP if you're a massive blubbery whale and you do have that health set on Lostfane and also 6/6 ultimate, because that team is so tanky. There's so much damage output. However, Sariel teams do contend really, really well, but Lostfane is also great on attack set with like all sorts of burst teams and compositions as well. But yeah, Lostfane just has crazy damage, easy access to rank ups as well, can get to his ultimate very quickly if he's crit. So yeah, he's still like a massive threat for PvP. But again, the one Escanor and his release in a couple of weeks' time really is going to put Lostvayne Meliodas in check. And then we also have Sariel. Now, Sariel is like a very diverse unit. There's lots of teams that you can run him on. Generally, the composition is like Halloween Gotha Sariel, and then one other character. You can use like Lostvayne, Goddess Liz. I like Keo the most. Keo is probably my favorite to run alongside him. Blue Zeldris is really, really fun as well. Either version of the Droll, depending on like what teams you're seeing more. If it's like Alt Rush teams, then Green Droll's better. If it's like Bursty teams, then Blue Droll might be a little bit better there. But yeah, there's a lot of variance in terms of how you can build and run Sariel. On my free-to-play, I've been running Sariel Lostvayne and also Halloween Gotha, and it's very, very fun to play around with. But it's like burst damage is just insanely strong, both in PvE and PvP, and moving forward, when the one Escanor does come in, and we're going to be seeing a lot more green tank Dianes, because she's actually really good for slowing him down. Sariel is really good for getting through those. So yeah, Sariel, I think it's going to have some great uses moving forward, and again, the combination of Sariel, the one Escanor, and Halloween Gotha is pretty damn broken in terms of damage output, man. There's so much damage on that team. So yeah, that one's really fun to play around with. Then we've also got Green Esterosa and Red Derriere. And Green Esterosa and Derry, I would say, are characters that are definitely like much better for PvE. Esther is broken for like so many scenarios, especially when paired with Gotha, and you get that gold counter off. But it's seeing more relevance in PvP with the release of Tarmiel as well, because they synergize really well together, because Esther's passive affects Tarmiel's stance and also gives him debuff immunity, and that is so damn good for Tarmiel. So yeah, they're like a really nice combo. So Esther's definitely seeing more relevance when it does come to PvP scenarios, but Derry, I would say, is not seeing as much relevance in PvP anymore. Like, there may be some fun teams that we might be able to run in the future with her evasion. It's been a while since I've actually revisited Red Derry in PvP, but again, in comparison to Sariel and Lostvayne, she does take like a couple of turns to really build up and get going. But in PvE scenarios when you can do this and fire off the ult, again, she has the highest amount of single target damage potential, like once you get her ramped up, and the ult is just broken, man. It's so incredibly overpowered. So yeah, Derry is still a beast when it does come to PvE there. And then we have the red version of Gotha, who's definitely seeing a bit more play in PvP, because Attack Disable is really annoying against Sariel, Ladociel, and also Tarmiel, just the Archangels generally speaking. So yeah, Attack Disable is like super, super good at the moment, but I'd say in comparison, like, Green Gotha is better to run in the majority of scenarios, just because his passive and ult control is so incredibly good. And yeah, a lot of red Gotha teams are very vulnerable to like ult rush comps. However, when it does come to PvE, and also generally speaking as well, Red Gotha is still absolutely phenomenal. The upgrade card is the best card in the entire game, just because it allows you to fuel all sorts of insanity with various characters. So yeah, he's still great for players that don't have the Halloween version of Gotha. And again, Red Gotha is a platinum coin shop unit as well, which is amazing. And Tarmiel is absolutely phenomenal on all sorts of tank teams in PvP. You can either pair him with, Green Gotha, and either Esterosa or Gloxinia at the moment are some of my favorite teams. I would say Gloxinia, Tarmiel, and Halloween Gotha, and either Esterosa or Gil Thunder on the sub is my favorite PvP team at the moment. It's so much fun to play. Gloxinia is like clapping Sariel, Lostvayne, Liz, and Gotha at the moment. Like, his upgrade blocking card is so damn strong. So yeah, I love Red Glocks. However, when the one does come out, that's going to be bad news for Red Glocks lovers out there. But then we got Keo. Again, one of my favorite combinations to run with Sariel is Keo and Sariel, just because those ignites really like pan out Sariel's damage so much. And if you draw like a gold card first turn, you know, you merge a silver and then can upgrade with Gotha, you just wipe the entire team turn one, which is very, very fun. We got a video on that on the channel if you want to see that in action. Then we got Red Zeldris, who's very fun to play still with a lot of commandment teams. I would say that Red Zeldris and Green Droll are still like incredibly good versus Glue Eater, and probably the best counter, especially with like Keo as the third character, or Ladociel, or even Lostvayne potentially as well. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do. Actually, Halloween Gotha slots in quite nicely to that team. So yeah, there's a lot of teams you can build around like Green Droll and Red Zeldris. However, these two units do suffer at the hands of Sariel, and Sariel is like a very common character to see in PvP at the moment. moment. So yeah, so one to look out for there potentially. But then we've got Green Merlin, mainly used on the sub for like Glue Eater Alt Rush teams there. Then we got the blue version of King, who can work really nicely alongside Lostvayne, Meliodas, and also Goddess Elizabeth. But generally speaking, Halloween Gotha is better on that team, at least in my personal opinion. But if you don't have Halloween Gotha, really good alternative to run there. The cleanse can be super clutch versus all sorts of teams as well. So again, King is still like really annoying to deal with for a lot of Glue Eater teams. Then next up, we've already covered the green version of Droll. However, the blue one works really well with Sariel and also Halloween Gotha. Again, you can access Petrify with those rank ups, but the problem that blue Droll has is if you're facing like another Sariel team and there's like a Kyo Sariel or Lostvayne Sariel, again, that Sariel can use your Droll's commandment to his advantage. So sometimes Droll can be a little bit of a con, but again, sometimes does work very well. So yeah, a bit of a fun one to play around with there. Then we've also got Festival King and Demon Hendrickson. Not really too common on Global. I would say they're like a really whaley composition when it comes to PvP, because they absolutely dominate if you can go first and have Goddess Liz. But again, you kind of need like max CC, ideally like 6/6 King Ult as well, just to absolutely demolish every single match. But if you can go first, they do really well, but it's still like a mega whaley team in all fairness, man. So yeah, Festival King and Demon Hendrickson, they're not bad if you're a mega whale, but for a lot of players, man, they're going to be like very much out of reach. I know if I do get them on the one Escanor banner on my free-to-play, I'm probably not going to invest that much, because again, if you do go second with that team, Goddess Liz can just throw up shield, and then they don't have a good way to get through that shield. Then we got Ladociel, who's super fun if you're a massive Megalodon, because you need like max everything, max CC in order to trigger his passive every single time and get that guaranteed. He's very fun in that scenario to run with Halloween Gotha, Death Pierce on the back, or like a full Archangels team. Again, there's like a few different ways you can build him. I wouldn't say he's like top meta in any setup, but yeah, can be very good and catch like a lot of teams off guard as well. So yeah, Ladociel can be very clutch sometimes, and also very good for getting through Goddess Liz shields as well. Then we got Lilia and a Mega Rugal. I would say Pierce, generally speaking, doesn't do very well against Goddess Elizabeth shields, but if we start to see her a little bit less, and sometimes we do on the front lines, again, a lot of people are running like Liz on the sub and like Lostvayne Sariel and Gotha on the front. Again, Pierce can do very well, and a Mega Rugal. Sariel kind of puts him in the bin. Sariel puts everybody in the bin, man, but if a Mega Rugal can get off a couple of Pierce cards there and survive, then yeah, he's doing a really good job. However, Blue Zeldris, man, I love the Blue Zeldris and Sariel combo. So much fun to play. And also I did some sub matches the other week, and the team that came close to beating my like ultimate control team was a blue Zeldris and also Sariel team. So yeah, that was really cool to see in action. But in like longer fights, man, they have so much damage output, it's absolutely ridiculous. So I bumped blue Zeldris up a little bit on the tier list. And then we have green Escanor, a little bit outdated when it does come to PvP, but still absolutely insane for PvE. Any progressing player getting this, man, is going to be super damn happy there. And then we got green Arthur. This guy is going to be given hopefully free alongside the one Escanor banner, which is going to be coming in 2.5 weeks. So yeah, very excited for that one. Absolute monster for PvE. Maybe like SS tier, man, because the passive is really good. This guy hits like a friggin' truck, but also gives like 35% more damage to your entire team, and also reduces damage taken by 35% as well. So it's very good for what is it, Tower of Trials, and a lot of PvE content moving forward. Then we got Blue D Melee for his Pierce cards, man. Not too bad, but very flimsy in the current meta. Also, Athena, very good for her sub passive ability for ult gauge control. Again, with like certain Sariel burst teams, man, that don't have like any ult control on the front, or you don't want to focus on those cards and you just want to go like ham on the damage, Athena can be so good for those teams. And Death Pierce is amazing for like backlining crit teams as well. Green Monspeed, pretty good with Kyo. Mine, not too bad with the blue Droll combination there. Green Derriere, not too bad for ult control. Again, Sariel being present, she's not super great at the moment, but it's going to be even better when like Assault Meliodas does come out. Red Escanor, not too bad, but a little bit outdated at the moment. Hawk and Oslo, very rare units, but very fun and interesting to see on certain control teams there as well, and also Red King can be all right on the back line if there's lots of Pierce, but there's not really much Pierce at the moment, so yeah, don't need to worry about that for now. Red Lilia got a nice passive for the King and Hendrickson teams, but is a little bit more fun to play on like alt control teams and control teams with like what is it, Zeldris and also Gotha. So yeah, she's a little bit fun to play around with sometimes. Not quite top meta, but all right, and can work out in the right scenario. And then we got Green Tank Deanne, who again I think is probably going to go up to S tier with the release of one Escanor. Maybe I should promote her now, because with the Tamiel Association, man, she's just broken tank against Escanor in PvP. She's got so much healing, and this is because she really like amplifies the healing of Tamiel's Grace, because it's all based off the character's defense. And if you apply that to Deanne and she gets a golden taunt, it increases all defense related stats by 200%. So it supercharges that heal to be like 60,000 every single turn. And then yeah, Escanor just really struggles to get through her, so she's actually one of the best counters out there to the one Escanor. But again, moving down, man, there are just so many characters in this game at the moment, so feel free to have a look over this tier list at your own leisure. I would say generally speaking the A and B tier champions are like potentially viable in PvP, however like not the best options to go for a lot of the time, but also have some really good uses in various PvE scenarios, depending on, you know, what you're doing and what you're trying to achieve there. So yeah, there's a lot of different characters. C characters you're gonna have a hard time using, but you might be able to make them work. However, Slater, man, is actually really good for the current Camilla boss. He's definitely like having a little bit of value. Maybe he should be B. In all fairness, man, I think Slater's probably deserving of that B when it does come to BVE stuff, in all fairness. Because, yeah, him and Zeldris, man, are shredding that Camilla boss. And he did get a little bit of a buff with the increase to, crit chance cards as well. So yeah, not too bad, and he's really good for the red demon. So yeah, that is it for the February tier list update. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If you did, please do smash that like button, that'd be greatly appreciated. But aside from that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.